How about now? Check. Check. How's that? Ooh, that's nice. I got the Tchaikovsky in the background. Bit of a hot take here. So, I feel like it's right behind me. I just put this away. That's a little... Should I bring that down if I'm gonna be talking right into the mic? Maybe I should just bring it down a little bit, If we're gonna get nice and intimate and get to know each other, then I feel like I have to bring it right down so I can get right up in you, in your face. Bit of a hot take here on CamZ Vinyl Vault. I just finished listening to Kiss's Destroyer for the first time all the way through. Of course, I've heard several tracks, most of the tracks, the good ones anyway, and I gotta admit, pretty disappointed. It's not great, right? Am I the only one who thinks that? I mean, it has some great songs, Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World, God of Thunder, of course. It's got Beth on there. Do You Love Me? But I think Great Expectations is not only one of the worst Kiss songs I've ever heard in my life. I feel like it's one of the worst songs, period, that I've ever heard. So, do I look stupid right now? I feel like I look stupid right now. So I know what you're thinking, Cam. I thought this was a new series, CamZ Vinyl Vault. I thought you were going to be posting content, but you know what? Let's be frank with let me be frank with you guys. I have been. I have probably like 90% of I have an episode. The Christmas episode that I did with my girlfriend Afton is in the can. It's in post production right now. And I know what you're thinking. Christmas episode. Is it too late to put that out? Nah. You're gonna get a Christmas episode whenever I get around to finishing that. And I have like 2 episodes that are halfway done. I have the long-awaited Final Jazz episode, and I have most of a classical episode filmed. But you know what? It's 2021. Life. Honestly, I was planning to have like 3 more episodes done before the end of the year of 2020, and now look at us. We're in March of 2021. Because I kind of, we're all at our wits' end here. But I just felt like tonight I wanted to get back in the game a little bit, maybe just talk a little bit about me. I haven't really done a video where I introduced myself for the Vinyl Vault. So maybe that's what we'll do here. We'll talk about some records. We'll talk about how I got started collecting vinyl. So welcome to another episode of CamZ Vinyl Vault. I figured I would take this opportunity to kind of talk about a little bit about my record collecting, how it started. Who am I? Who am I? as a vinyl collector, who is CamZ Vinyl Vault? I have been collecting for 15 years now, or in the ballpark of 15 years. I first started collecting records in grade 8. Grade 9? Fuck was that? I think grade 9, actually, to be honest with you. And I do know what my very first record that I bought was. And lucky for you guys, it is right here. So I found this Rush's A Farewell to Kings for $1 in the dollar bin at the local curio shop, the Rabbit Hole, here in town. It's not the same. If you ever find yourself in Grand Prairie, Alberta, the Rabbit Hole that exists now is a far cry from what it was. It was bought out by this very pleasant older couple that owns a framing store, and they kind of combined it into that. But it used to be more of a hangout for transients and the hipster types. And it really was a place where you could just walk in and you never knew what you were gonna find. I actually found a copy of Iron Maiden's first album. You know what? Here, I'll just show you. I found this the one day. It's a Canadian pressing on Harvest of the self-titled Iron Maiden album, and somebody had sold it there earlier that day, and I had come in a couple hours after that, and snapped it up right away. Actually, I found a lot of great records at the Rabbit Hole back in the day. Let me see if I can pull a couple of them out. Monsters of Rock. This was also a dollar bin find. It was my first exposure to Rainbow and Saxon, Riot, and Touch. I bought it because I had the Scorpions and April Wine, which I thought were great bands, and I was trying to collect classic rock at the time. And this is post Dio Rainbow, but it still is pretty fantastic. And then Saxon. It's got, I think, Backs to the Wall, because this was from the very first Monsters of Rock festival in Donington. If that's incorrect, then please don't hold it against me. And then so Saxon I would encounter years later when I got really into them. I can't remember why I got into Saxon, but I remember listening to Denim and Leather, like the album, incessantly. I think because of my interest in Iron Maiden and then through Metallica, I started listening to a lot of the new wave of British heavy metal bands, such as Diamond Head and Blitzkrieg, and then from there it kind of transitioned into Saxon, and I was like, oh man, Saxon's pretty awesome, and I started listening to them through there, and I had this, so I went back in the day, or I went back to this and revisited it after I had heard of Saxon, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Riot, of course, Road Racing. That song would show up in Brutal Legend for Xbox and PlayStation 3. So another song that I would encounter later in life after experiencing it on here. And then Touch with their Don't You Know What Love Is. That's just a great hair metal jam. Don't you know what love is? Some other... Okay, so the Rabbit Hole, they were great. You could find a lot of cool things in like the dollar bins, but all of their new vinyl was vastly overpriced. I did buy a few of them there. Actually, like, and these are some of the records that I definitely regretted at the time, because I was like, oh man, these are so expensive. And then you're like, oh shit, like I paid. And this is a seal, like a new reissue of Bob Dylan's Blonde on Blonde. And I paid like $70 for this. It's a mono reissue. It sounds great. It sounds phenomenal. At the time I was like, oh man, yeah, Bob Dylan. Like I'm I'm sophisticated. I listen to the Bob Dylan, you know. And then I went through a period where I was just into the heavy metal, and I was like, I regret this. I hate this album. Why did I buy it? But now in my old age, I've come back around to appreciating it again. Some of the other stuff that I purchased at the Rabbit Hole back in the day, I think I got both Garage Inc. and S&M. Probably vastly overpaid for both. I remember for years I was trying to sell my copy of S&M because I was like, man, why did I even buy this? Like, I have these on CD. Why do I need the vinyl, right? And then of course now they've been reissued by Metallica on their Blackened record label. But these are still, being original pressings, they're worth a little bit more than the new ones. So those are pretty cool. And then I also, from the Rabbit Hole, I've got things like one of my friends had got me this for my birthday one year. It's an unofficial Saucer Full of Secrets Pink Floyd picture disc. It sounds really good, and for a while, like, I couldn't find a proper copy of it. But speaking of the Floyd, this is also a bootleg of Piper of the Gates of Dawn that I bought at the Rabbit Hole that I vastly overpaid for. So, but it's all about the memories, right? It's all about the memories, and kind of growing in vinyl. What do I listen to? What do I have a lot of? Well, clearly I have a lot of pop and rock, mostly rock, a lot of classic rock, more classic than newer rock. Recently, I've gotten more into jazz, as you can tell by my first couple of episodes of this show, and a lot of classical music. I've learned to appreciate and love classical music so much. I'm sure that I talk about this in the classical episode, so I won't touch on it too much. But it's usually relatively cheap. You can get, very well taken care of records for relatively cheap. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about my origins. Always a fan of the Iron Maiden. Actually, I believe that one of the first records the first record that I bought on eBay was a copy, a U.S. pressing of Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind. And since then, I have accumulated like 4 or 5 different copies of that album. It's not my favorite Iron Maiden album. I would not argue that it's the best Iron Maiden album, but there is something special about it to me. And actually, I'm doing a vinyl challenge on Instagram currently, and I chose that as one of my my 3 desert island albums. So apparently, if I'm stuck on a desert island, that's gonna be one of them. I do remember taking some trips down to Edmonton with some of my friends. We used to go to concerts back in the day, Aerosmith and Motley Crue. What else did we go down to? Oh, we went down to the Who. That was really fun. And while we were down there, we'd hit up a couple record shops because my friend Russell, who I went to a lot of concerts with and who shared a love for classic rock when we were in junior high and high school, he was also a record collector. He kind of got into it like just before I did, and he was kind of the reason that I was like, man, like this is kind of cool. I also want to get into record collecting. So I remember we went down to Blackbird Music on White Avenue. And I definitely picked up a couple of great records. Like nothing surprising. That's where I picked up my copy of Dark Side of the Moon. This is I think this is the 30th anniversary edition of it. Anyways, this is one of the best sounding ones. This isn't one of the new reissues. This is one of the older 15-year-old reissues or whatever. This was actually a really nice surprise. I bought this copy of Led Zeppelin 1. This is actually a classic albums pressing. And so I just bought it because I wanted a copy of Led Zeppelin 1. I probably paid like $30 for this. And it's worth a lot now because classic albums are no longer in business, and they made some fantastic records. So that's great. And then when I went down to Lethbridge to go to school for broadcast journalism. That's right. I worked in the radio industry for a bit. It seemed like a logical progression for somebody who loves music. It wasn't the best idea, but it was a lot of fun, and I discovered a lot of music that I still love today. And actually, I would find music, like I'd find a song that I would love, and then I'd go and I'd buy, the record, and then it turns out that a lot of those records, because they were newer bands, pressing it, and there wasn't a lot of represses. Now they're worth a little bit of money. Like some of the, for example, just looking in the A's, I have. This is the picture disc version of the Alice in Chains' "The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here." It's a double, and I went and saw them. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. I have my concert ticket stub in there. I saw them in Dawson Creek, here, which is about 40 minutes away from Grand Prairie. That one I wanted to show you, and so I'll show you both of these. I bought Audioslave, their first, I believe. Oh, Out of Exile. Okay, because while I was working at the radio station, because it's a great album, and it's a really cool. It's a blue vinyl. This is actually one that's worth quite a bit of money, and not because it sounds great, because it kind of sounds like glass. There's no low end on this, but I'm sure if you ran it through some equalizers, you can add a little bass to it. And actually, this popped up on my. I talked about going to radio college, right? This popped up on my Facebook memories today from 9 years ago. This is AWOL Nation's first album. I remember when this shit dropped, and it was insane. I used to go and DJ at the student lounge, some events. And this is when this was like brand new. AWOL Nation was like, nobody knew who these guys were. And I would put Sail on, and at least like 5 people would come up and be like, what is this song? What is it called? Who's it by? Like, I need to get this. And this is another album that's never been repressed as of right now. So it's worth a pretty penny. And so yeah, that's some good shit. And of course, I gotta give a shout out to my homies Graham, Big Cat, and Evan FC. They were my roommates down in college. We were like the music household, man. We were a dorm room, or a dorm house full of radio students. It was music. It was constant music. It was fantastic. I actually remember one morning, I think it was like one Saturday, and the day previous, so I had made an eBay order while we were down in Lethbridge, and so like on the Friday I'd ordered Saxon's Denim and Leather, which I mentioned earlier, and the Tigers of Pantang, Spellbound. And so we had woken up, and like we'd gone to bed or whatever. We had some, one of our other radio buddies was over, and Evan and Mitch was his name. They were playing, I think they were playing some NHL on PlayStation, and so whatever. We had a couple drinks, and relaxed and went to bed. And so we woke up. I woke up at like, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm sure it was like 4. It was closer to 5 probably. And I was like, there's noise coming from, like, what the fuck? There's noise coming from downstairs. So I like knock on Graham's door. I'm like, hey man, like you hear that? There's something going on. He's like, yeah. What's up? I'm like, let's go. So we creep down, and Evan and Mitch were still up. They like started they started like a playoff round, and so they'd been playing straight, and they were on like the final game. So we'd sat there, and we watched them finish it, and then they were like, "Kate, we're done. We're going to bed." So they left, and I looked over at Graham, and I'm like, Big Cat, we're up. let's get it on. Let's get the rock and roll. So he's like, I'll go make the coffee. So yeah, we had a lot of fun. I hope you've enjoyed the series so far, and I hope that I'll be able to have you on one of these days, and we can shoot the shit about old times. I don't know. I don't really have. I feel like that's enough for now. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope you learned a little bit about me, I guess. I didn't really plan this. I just kind of felt like talking. I always feel good to just talk about records. I'll have more for you guys another time, but thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I know that my the second jazz video didn't get a whole lot of views, so I don't even know if anybody's watching this, but if you are, sincerely, thank you. And I'm not really doing this for anybody but myself, so I just love doing this. All right, so if you want to see me talk about something, if you have a request of a genre or an artist or a subgenre or something that you want me to talk about, please leave a comment down below. Otherwise, yeah, I'll once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one, whenever that may be. Thanks.
お前はもう死んでいる。